We have a kitchen.
The kitchen is done, almost. Welcome back to the Double K Farm channel.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe. And we are moving forward.
Yes.
Sort of.
Sort of, sideways.
So we've got a lot of the sheetrock up. We don't have the two back bedrooms done, but we have the living area, the kitchen area, our bedroom, my office, all the sheetrock is done. The only thing we still have to do is texture and then prime and obviously paint it. But today, our kitchen cabinets are coming.
Hallelujah.
So that's like, yes, we're having progress.
It seems real.
So we ordered RTA cabinets from the RTA cabinet store. I will leave a link for them down below. They're always having great sales. And I think we did a good job at really pricing out. I mean, I went through all of the different companies, price matched them all. I went to Home Depot, to Lowe's. We ordered a lot of kitchen cabinets.
Yeah.
And so the price for these cabinets with the sale that they had at the time that we have ordered them came out to be like $9,000, but that included getting stuff, vanities for our bathroom.
Now, this is that moment where that scripture, don't weary in doing well, really plays in, because you have this budget, you want to stick to it, but like the researching part can be exhausting, and you're going to hit that wall where you're thinking, you know what, just screw it. Whatever it costs, it costs. And you really want to check yourself, because we were able to save more than $4,000 really being like doing a lot of research.
Now, we did a lot of add-ons on our cabinets. So you'll see as we're putting them all together, we ordered like pull-out trays in the 24-inch cabinets. You know, and again, because we just wanted one shipping cost, we ordered everything for our bathroom because we're like custom building a vanity. If you just looked at the kitchen cabinets itself without all of the accessories and panels and everything else we did, it was somewhere around $6,500. But like I said, I compared a lot of different companies. There's another like RTA cabinet store. It's like one is like the RTA cabinet store and one is RTA cabinet store, two different companies. That one charged like almost $2,000 for shipping. Whereas this one, the shipping was $300. And that's why we went with this one, because over $3,000 you got, no, this one was free shipping. I'm sorry, it was free shipping.
You can do a lot with that extra money.
Yes. Now there was another company that we almost bought from called Buy Wholesale Cabinets. So I'm giving you all of my research to make it easier for you. Buy Wholesale Cabinets was slightly cheaper than this company, somewhere around $700. They didn't have some of the accessories that we wanted for our cabinets. The difference is they charge like $300 for shipping, which isn't that bad. But I think the biggest difference is for some reason they weren't charging us tax, whereas this company did. The reason I went with this company, even though it costs a little bit more money, is Buy Wholesale Cabinets has a policy of you have to spend $3,000 to place an order. If you forget a cabinet, something like that, and come back later on, you're going to have to pay like $500 in shipping, even if it's for one cabinet. So for us, we were like, I don't like that. What if we forgot something? What if we want to add something else on?
We make mistakes.
So we just decided to go with this company. Also, this company had a better warranty, even though I think they're all pretty much the same cabinets. I really do.
I do too.
But this company also offered a warranty. In addition to what you get, you can have a protection plan. It costs us like $500. And it is 5 years. If you scratch them, burn them, break them, if you break the hinges, the door falls off, they replace it. They fix it. So if you gouge the paint, even if you do it yourself, they will fix it. And part of it was, if they don't have that color, that style cabinet anymore, they will replace your entire kitchen. So we felt like that was a good $500 investment.
Yeah.
If we bang a door off or something like that, that it'll get fixed. So we are waiting for the cabinets. They're being drop shipped, or not drop shipped, like truck shipped. So the company is going to bring them up to the end of our driveway, and then we have to remove them off of the truck and then bring them down here. So glad we have our tractor. Okay, we just got a phone call that the guy is coming down the street. So now we are going to start unloading cabinets. Are you ready for this?
I am so ready. Like the motivation is there because this is going to be a lot of hard work, we know. However, at the end of this hard work isn't just like some sweat and a good workout. There's actually going to be a kitchen on the other side of this.
Now, I wanted to say earlier when we did the intro, just to give you an idea, I did the same exact layout through Lowe's with some of their cheapest solid wood cabinets, because these are 1/2-inch wall, solid wood. The doors are wood framed with an MDF panel in the middle, which all cabinets are like that. They're either MDF or HDF. So the front door, the little shaker part in the middle, but the outside edge where all your hinges, that is actual wood. Just to give you a comparison, the same exact setup, and they also didn't have some of the pull-out trays that we wanted, was $18,000 through Lowe's. So going through this company definitely saved us a lot of money. Every other company was a couple $1,000s more, except for the one that was that little bit less, but
scared us.
Red flags a little bit. I'm sure they're great. They have really good reviews, but I didn't like the fact that, you know, you have a minimum $3,000 order. Well, we've got them all over here. Now we need to get them into the house.
Well, that was quite a workout, but we did get all of it in. And here's the color. It's like a dark gray. I want to call it like army gray, but it's charcoal is what they're calling it.
They call it charcoal gray on their website. The box says cinder because, again, I think there's one manufacturer and there's multiple companies selling from this same manufacturer.
Right.
Because even the assembly instructions, I've seen the same exact assembly instructions, the same exact video from 5 different retailers.
Right.
So overall, not too big of a deal. Was a lot of work. There's a couple of other cabinets that you don't see here. So these are all of our kitchen cabinets. So these are all base. Those are all base except for the top 3. Those are the 42-inch tall wall cabinets. Over here we have a couple more 42-inch. Those are our 30-inch wall cabinets for on the window. Those are all the accessories. That's the microwave cabinet up on top. And then those are all the pull-out drawers and stuff. That I believe is the garbage can cabinet.
I think so too.
That was probably the most expensive thing in here. The garbage can cabinet was like $550.
It reminds me of an RV where they say the garbage can is like $100,000 garbage can.
Well, it really was. Now it's like a double garbage can thing. So I know it's something you really wanted.
I really wanted it.
And so we figure you know what, in the grand scheme of things, what is, an extra couple of $100? Because it added $300 onto the price of the cabinets.
But we'll use it every day.
And then over here, these are the big corner ones. So that is a 36-inch base. That's a corner base. And then we also have another big one down there. I'm not quite sure what that is. Over here, we have the big panels for the back of the island. Those are the refrigerator side panels. We're going to put a 24-inch all the way up each side of the fridge. And then like we said, because we wanted to place one big order, these are for our bathroom. So what we're going to do is a 48-inch vanity. It's got a set of drawers on each side of the sink. And that's going to literally start right about where those light switches are. It's going to go 48 inches over. And then next to that, we're going to put a 96-inch tall, 18-inch wide vanity cabinet, or it's basically a pantry cabinet to be able to store all of our towels and stuff. So we just put that over here.
There is a squirrel right now in our brand new squirrel feeder. I'm very excited.
You want to go see him?
When you think about the difference between Rachel, you got your cabinets in, but why we wanted to move here is because of all of the nature and the wildlife. And I'm excited.
So next thing up with these cabinets is going to be, we're going to let them sit here for a day or two. We're going to start assembling them. You only have a certain amount of time to report any problems once you open up the box. I think it's 30 days total, but they ask for like within 5 days if there's something missing or broken or something like that. So we're going to go into the boxes where there's a little bit of damage on the boxes.
Check them.
So they give you like a whole set of instructions on what to do when you get delivery. Like you have to take photos of everything while it's still on the truck. If there's any boxes that have like any cuts or anything like that, take pictures of that. And you still accept the delivery, but you just notate the delivery note that there's a couple boxes that have cuts or damage, or they're probably just banged up, but it looks like there's a lot of good padding inside of each box. And then if you have a problem, you report it, they'll send you free cabinets or, arrange for swaps and stuff like that. In the meantime, we're gonna start texturing all of these walls probably tomorrow. So we've got our kitchen cabinets. We need to assemble them. I've assembled one or two of them just to see the process. And, I think now I'll be able to be a lot faster. The first one took me over an hour, but because, it's like IKEA instructions. They're not super clear. And then there's videos, but every cabinet is slightly different. So I think I've got it down where I can probably get it down to like 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes per cabinet, but it's going to take us time because we have a lot of cabinets. There's an entire row over here, over there, there's an island. And we are on a bit of a time crunch because with the RTAstore.com, the way it works is they're delivered. You have 30 days to find manufacturer defects in your cabinet. So if you have a warped panel, if there's stuff missing, you have 30 days. So we need to get all of these assembled. Now, I don't want it to take 30 days anyway, but we're already like a week into it because we had to move because our old house sold. So here's what we've done so far. So I went through, before we do all the cabinets, I wanted to paint and prime, or prime and paint the kitchen so that even though we're gonna have most of the wall covered, I do want it at least protected, especially if you ever change things in the future. So we're gonna prime them and paint them.
I am stripped down to jeans and a bathing suit because I shouldn't be naked doing it. It's too cold, but I am messy. I literally touched the roller for 5 seconds and I've already got paint on myself. So I'm a very messy painter. It is not my favorite thing to do. It's probably one of my least favorite things to do, but there is just something so convincing about Joe that it seems right and reasonable for me to go ahead and do this. So I'm going to go do this thing.
Well, here's the good thing. So you're working in a house where it doesn't matter if you drip some on the floor because there's no floor.
Best case scenario.
It doesn't matter if you get it on the ceiling because the ceiling is going to be completely redone with the panels.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be super neat.
It's a good thing because I'm not at all.
So what we're doing is we're using, you can see it over there, the Kills PVA. So we're just going to coat the whole wall in primer.
Yes.
And then we can let that dry. And from there, we can go ahead and paint. And then once we have that done, we can actually start getting the cabinets up and we will have a kitchen.
Let's do this thing.
Okay, so we got all of our kitchen cabinets together and now we are gonna begin hanging them up. This is gonna be the hardest wall to hang them up. So we're gonna start with the wall cabinets. The biggest problem that we have in this house is that the studs are like 24 inches on center, which is gonna present a little bit of a problem when it comes to hanging the cabinets because you're gonna have a couple of cabinets that are gonna fall in between studs. So I have a solution for that, I'll show you that in a minute. But what we started off with doing was running our laser level. So we have our laser level here and this is set to 54 inches. And then what I've done is I've screwed in a support beam right here. So we have one over here and one over here. So this is exactly 54 inches to the top from the ground. And that's gonna allow us to hang the cabinets a little bit easier. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with this big corner cabinet. And these are 42-inch high cabinets. We can get it up on the wall. We can rest it up on the beam instead of trying to manhandle it and get it level. It's just gonna sit on this beam. And then while Rachel is actually holding it up, I can screw it in. Okay, so we have our cabinet here and we're gonna go ahead and hang it. And the way I mark the studs is, what I do is I had a piece of tape across. I've used my stud finder, I found all the studs. And rather than having to worry about the tape, every one of these screws that are holding these supports is a stud. So I know exactly that there's a stud here, a stud here, a stud here, a stud here. And I also know that there's obviously studs in the corner.
And stud here.
Oh, thank you very much.
So you can immediately look at the cabinet and know that you're gonna have a stud in this section and a stud over here plus the corner. So I really don't need to put any other toggle bolts in here, but I am gonna do one so that I can show you that. And it looks like the layout of the studs may make it where it's not as necessary, but I'm still gonna put a couple of extra. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hang these up. We're gonna lift it up, and then Rachel just literally has to hold it while I screw a screw in, and then we're gonna go ahead and mark out for our toggle bolt. Then we have to take it back down to put the toggle bolt in. So I'm just using cabinet screws. These are 2.5-inch cabinet screws. And then of course my drill, they even do come with a bit. So what we'll do is we'll put this up here. We'll help Rachel lift this up. So all we're gonna do is lift it up. It's also much easier if you take your doors off and take out the shelves. And then we put it right in the corner and set it on there. And then Rachel can just hold it. I'm gonna grab my level and just check and make sure that everything is level. Now, since I have Rachel, I don't even have to hold this in with the screw because she can just continue to hold it while I put a couple of screws for the toggle bolts, or actually just holes for the toggle bolts. But if I'm doing it by myself, what I would do is screw a screw into one of the studs, hold it up, and then do this. So I've got these toggle bolts that I purchased at Home Depot. I'll leave a link for them down below. And what's really cool about these is you're going to drill a hole, these push in, and then you grab these straps and pull it out, and then they're there. But what makes this one unique, if I come closer to the camera, is it's got this little piece on it right here. And this actually is gonna slide down and hold this in place. And by holding it in place, you can then take down the cabinet and the toggle won't drop down, and then you screw a screw in through it. So what we're gonna do is just mark a couple places where there's no stud so that I can have just a little bit extra screws holding it into the wall in those areas where there's no stud. So I'm gonna put one down here, and all I'm gonna do is literally drill a pilot hole, and I put it off to the edge a little bit so that you don't see it as much. And I put it through the wall like that. And then we'll do another one right up here. And all I'm really doing here is marking here and then of course the wall. Now what we can do is take this cabinet back down, and you'll see we have our marks for our toggle bolts. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a larger drill bit and just make this hole bigger. And another one up here. Then what I do is I take the toggle, I push it through, and then you pull it back, and you can see how it's holding it. And then you grab here and you slide this little piece down. It's almost like a zip tie. And then it's got these little cleats that push into the drywall and then pull out a little bit more. And then all you gotta do is snap that off. And now that is held in place for when we put our cabinet back up. And these will hold 300 pounds. So this is more than enough when you also add in the fact that we are, screwing into studs in other places, but putting a few of these, if you have a cabinet that doesn't hit a stud at all, would really help. Now we can put the cabinet back up and screw it into the wall. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and lift it back up. All the way up on top of the braces. So we just go ahead and we put the screw in the hole, use our screwdriver. And that's secure. And now I can finish the rest of the screws for this cabinet, and then it's much easier once you have it in to work on each one after that. We just put them up, screw them together, and then screw them into the wall.
Okay, how goes the fight?
So we've got all of the upper cabinets in.
They look great.
So we have all the upper cabinets on the side, with the exception of the 24-inch. We have a 24 by 24 by 36 that goes over the refrigerator over here, and then there's going to be a fridge panel coming down here. But we're going to put the base cabinets in first because of the fridge cabinet. We also have this entire side over here installed. So we've got all of these cabinets up, got all the base cabinets in. The only thing we have left is the microwave. And the microwave is gonna go right over here, but we need to cut a hole in the wall to the outside. Good thing is if I screw it up, we are gonna reside the house eventually, so that's what foam filler is for. The one thing I did make sure as I was laying this out is that the vent did not hit a stud, because originally I was gonna have the oven over here, but there's a stud like right here. So we decided to shift it down so that it would fall in between studs.
Talk to me about this green light that's going on all the way around.
Laser levels make things so much easier. So I don't want to move it over here because I've got it set perfectly right now, but I used the Milwaukee laser level. And what I like about this one in particular is it's got a floating thing so it can auto level. But you can see it this way. We can also put crosses. So if you stay there, I'll just kind of switch it over here. And you can see we can also put beams like that. And then we can also have it this way. So you can see we have, if you look up on the ceiling, you can have like a big cross and everything. So this one really does every single way. But right now we only need this horizontal one. But what we do is we lay out the laser level and we find the highest point, because nobody's floor is perfectly level.
No.
Okay? Your floor has dips and valleys, just like your wall. We ran into a little problem over here where the wall was pushing out a little bit. So we had to really work hard to get them to come flush. So you find the highest place with your cabinets, you kind of put them in place, and then you find the highest place and we're gonna level it to that. So raise the other ones up. Now, I have found a much easier way to level cabinets than the old-fashioned way of using shims. Shims is a pain in the neck. Plus, you get it perfectly level and then you go to move it just a couple inches and all of a sudden your shims move. So I found these things called the Easy Cabinet Leveler. Now I've already installed them on these cabinets, but when we do the island, I'll put it in the video just to kind of give you an idea. But basically what happens is you mount this one in the back of the cabinet. So back here, and then this one goes up here on the front and it comes through like this. And basically what happens is these are screwed to the bottom of the cabinet. And you can see here there's feet on here, right? So if you look at the feet, you basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna turn this and look at the foot. So that foot will now level the cabinet. And so instead of having to use shims, these are mounted right behind the toe kick. So you drill a hole in the front of your cabinet, but then you're gonna put your toe kick over it, so you're gonna cover that hole. And once you get them into place, you simply do this, and now you can level a cabinet in like 30 seconds. So to install your easy levels, what you need to do is, if you have a cabinet run, the first thing you wanna do is put together your cabinet run. So this is the center island. Then we're gonna go ahead and decide where each easy level is gonna go. So on a cabinet run, you're gonna put one on the end, and then you put one where two cabinets join. So we can put one either here or over here. Then we're gonna put one either here or over here. Then we're gonna put one either here or over here. Same thing here, one on one of these two sides, and then one on the end. So for this cabinet run, which has 3 24-inch cabinets and 2 12-inch cabinets, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the easy levels. So let's go ahead and show you how to install it. And it's easiest to do it with it laying on the side like this. So the first thing we're gonna do is mark out our hole, and they give you this little like guide template, and it's got a little piece on the back, and you're just gonna push it up against the side just like this. And we mark this little hole right here. Now it's really important to make sure that all of your cabinets are screwed together, because otherwise it's not gonna work with the easy level. So you have to make sure you have everything screwed together and that this cabinet run is all together. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a step bit and we're gonna drill a hole, and you're gonna make a 3/4 inch hole, and it's best to use a step bit for this. just like that. And you're gonna do that on each hole. Now don't worry, these are gonna be covered up by your main toe kit. So each section is gonna get one set of easy levels. And so when you get it, you're gonna get 2 of these, you're gonna get a short rod, and then you're gonna get a long rod. And so the first thing you wanna do is go ahead and assemble all these. So you're gonna take your short rod and just thread it into this hole here. And I just actually wanna get it so it's just in, not so that the foot is extending at all. It'll make it easier when we're doing the leveling. And then you're gonna go ahead and do the same thing with the long one. And that's it. And see, you can see what happens is when we tighten this rod, your foot comes out. And if we loosen it, this foot goes in. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and install these. And the first thing you do is take the short one and we're gonna put it right up against the edge of the cabinet. And then we're going to push it up until this rod is right before or right below the edge of the toe kick. So you don't want to come up past the toe kick because when you put on your other board, you want that to lie flush. So you can come up right to the edge or just a little bit below it. So you can see it right there. We're going to screw this right into the bottom of the cabinet. And then they give you some longer black screws. They're going to go into the holes over here on the side. And this, you don't want to tighten it. You just want it to kind of hold it in place. But if you tighten it too much, it's going to crush the metal and the foot won't move freely. So you have 2 of them. And again, it's just securing it a little bit more. Then we're going to take our bottom one or our back one and we push it up through the hole in the back of the front easy level. And you can see how it is coming out this top right here. I'll get a closer look to see how it's coming out. And then you're going to push that up so that it's coming out the top hole. And again, you're going to make it flush or just a little bit below. And then you're going to just do the same thing. You're going to hold this and go ahead and put your screws in. And that's it. That's how you're going to put in a set. And now we're just going to go and do all of the rest of them. Things are progressing here.
Nicely.
So we've got all of our kitchen cabinets in, finally.
Yay!
And recently we had the countertop installed. We decided to go with a quartz instead of a granite.
And cost was a reason for that. And also ease of care was a reason for that.
We were going back and forth between it because we've always had granite. But, you know, granite, you have to seal a couple times a year. Quartz looks prettier. The biggest thing that we were going back and forth about it was the fact that with quartz, you have to make sure you're not, you know, putting hot things on it and stuff like that.
But we've been very careful in our RV. So we've kind of gotten used to don't ever do that because we actually do not have solid surface countertops in our RV. So I think that we're in a position where we can move forward not doing that thing.
There's also no children in the house.
There's also no children in the house.
So the biggest thing for us though is because of the cabinets that we chose, which it doesn't really get picked up on camera, but these are like a charcoal gray. It's like a cross between black and brown.
There's definitely some mood lighting going on because depending on how the light shines on it, the time of day, it changes colors, Joe.
So now we need to put in our cabinet knobs, and we were going back and forth between whether we should put pulls or knobs, and what did you decide on?
We decided on knobs, mostly because it is easy to clean, it's straightforward. We do have a lot of cabinets, and we didn't want it looking super, super busy. When you're using knobs, it's easier to, I feel like, maintain some cleanliness and keep bacteria out because there's just not so many points of contact.
Also, it's cheaper.
So
we ended up getting knobs off of Amazon. These are the ones that we got. They're like stainless steel brushed nickel color. I think it's going to look perfect in here. So we're going to go ahead and install these. Here's the thing. I was looking for jigs to install them so we could make sure we install them in the same exact place on every single cabinet. And either A, I couldn't find something that did knobs. Like I found a lot of ones for pulls, but not for knobs. Sorry, that's the wash machine going. But I just couldn't find something that I liked. And then also everything I did see was very expensive. And then I started thinking, I have a 3D printer. Why can't I just make my own jig? So that's what I did. So with the upper cabinets and even the lower cabinets, what we decided to do was center them right here. So this is 2.5 inches wide, and this is 2.5 inches wide. So I just made a simple little like jig basically, and it's got a hole centered in here exactly at 2.5 inches wide, in the middle, 2.5 inches wide all the way around. And then it's got this little lip on it so we can open up the cabinet, and I can push it right up, corner to corner, drill my hole, and then every one of them will be in the same place. And then when I come over to this cabinet, I just turn it 90 degrees and we do that. So I did drill this hole at exactly 3/16, when I made it the STL. So that's the same size bit I'm using. And so I'm gonna just push it in and up, hold it firmly, put my drill bit in there, and push it through there. And then I'll come over here and I'm gonna do the same exact thing. And now all of the holes will be in the same place, and then Rachel can follow through and do all of the cabinet pulls. Now for the drawers, I designed another template. So this is the template that I have. And what I did was I put a little notch in the top so that I can go around and on each drawer, mark the exact center of the drawer from left to right. And then this is the template for the top drawer. So all of the top drawers are 6.25 inches tall. So what we did was I found the actual middle of each drawer and I marked it with a little marker that I can then wipe off with a little bit of denatured alcohol or something. And we put it right in the center. And then that's gonna put my hole right in the middle of the drawer. Then I can just hold it tightly, take my drill, and push it through, and now I have the hole, and I can do that on all the drawers. And then I designed a different template for the actual bottom drawers on the couple of cabinets where we have 3 drawers. So those are 11 1/8 inch tall. So that one is just a little bit different so that I can put the hole again exactly in the center. Not too difficult, right?
No. I like the fact that these come with 2 different screws, one, longer than the other one, depending on the thickness of the cabinet. So I think that I'm probably going to have to use the longer screw on some of the pulls for the drawers, but I can use the thinner one for these doors.
Now, if you are curious, why do we buy them on Amazon? Because on Amazon, it was like $27 for a pack of 30 of them, compared to going to Home Depot, where the average drawer pull for just a simple, pretty much the same exact one, was $2.80 a piece. And I don't remember exactly how many we needed, but it's somewhere around 60. So that adds up to a lot of money.
We have a kitchen.
The kitchen is done, almost. We've done pretty much everything. We have a functioning kitchen. We just haven't done the backsplash. We're not gonna do that until we're done with everything else, because we still have to do our windows and things like that. But all the cabinets are in, our countertop is in. We've started doing lights. We've got some different types of recessed lighting up here. We started doing the ceiling. We didn't finish the ceiling because we still have to texture the walls that are in front of us right now. And if we do that in here, then obviously we're gonna get all of the texture and the paint and everything on the ceiling. But we started laying out the ceiling over there so that we can figure out exactly where we put the lights. Let's go over the whole kitchen. We will start right here at the island because this is my favorite feature. I have always wanted an island on our kitchen, and we finally have one. And this thing is huge. I mean, it is 8.5 feet long, plenty of space to do cooking, to do meal prep. If we want to have the kids over or any kind of guests over, we can like lay out a nice buffet on here. I mean, it's 8.5 feet long. It's got so much room, and it's going to be great for doing cooking videos on our keto channel. And I absolutely love the way the countertop came out. So over here, we have a 24-inch cabinet with a drawer on top, and then down below on this one,
we actually put in a slide out tray because we're gonna be putting our JBR vac sealer in here, and we're adding electric in there so that we can keep it out of the way and not up on the counter. Over here, we have a 15-inch 3-drawer cabinet. Then over here, we have another 24-inch drawer cabinet. Over here, we have another 15-inch, I believe it was, or 12-inch. This is 12-inch and the other one is 12-inch. And this is our tray divider. And then we have another 24-inch cabinet over here. Now, what actually makes the island 8.5 feet is on each side, we built a 3-inch piece on the end, and that's so that we can add electric into here. So we have a box here, and that gave us the room to be able to put the box. Now, if you are curious how we're getting away with the electric there, it's because of the code that the state of Florida follows. Because I know somebody's gonna mention that, hey, current code says you can't put outlets over there, but it depends on the state that you're actually in. I reached out to our son, John Paul, who is a master electrician, and he said in the state of Florida, they're following an older code that still allows you to put the outlets on the side of the island so long as they're within 12 inches of the countertop. Over here in the corner, I kind of love the way we came up with designing this. So we have our refrigerator here. Up here on top, as we told you before, we have a 24 by 24 by 36 inch cabinet. And so this is nice and deep. You're really gonna need a step stool to get all the way to the back. But again, that's where we're gonna put things that we don't use a whole lot. Over here, we have another cabinet. I'm not quite sure of what size I put in here. It was everything to fit perfectly here. We have a corner cabinet with one of these kind of doors on here. We put another cabinet here, and then another one over here. This one is 12 inches, I believe. And all of these cabinets are 42 inches high. Now we had to deal with the sloping ceiling here. So what we did was here on the end, we put a 36-inch cabinet, and you just have a little bit of a gap there. And again, the ceiling is eventually going to be going all the way in. We're just going to be able to put that in because of the way this goes up. It just glues up to the existing ceiling, and this way we didn't have to do anything with that ceiling up there. Now, we really haven't done a backsplash like I said. We're going to be putting a backsplash in, but we've added plenty of outlets. Now, one thing you will notice is that we don't have any GFI on this side, and that's because our son actually came out and he redid our entire panel. And when he did the panel, all of the breakers in there actually have the GFI for in the kitchen. So there's no need to put GFI outlets in here. You'll see on the other side of the kitchen, we have them there, but that's because I had already installed them, not knowing that he was gonna put those breakers in there. So eventually, I'll probably take those out. Now, I love the way we've wrapped this around. We just really worked on having a good utilization of space. So again, over here, we have another 24-inch cabinet here. We have another one here. And again, we also put in one of these pull-out dividers or trays. And that's because I'm thinking about adding in a chiller eventually. So I want to put in like a soda chiller so that we can have a fountain built up on top. Right now, you can see we have our modified soda stream there. But I really don't want to have this big CO2 thing. So I've added electric down below in that cabinet because on the other side of this wall is our pantry, and I'd be able to put the CO2 and stuff in there and then also access everything here. So it's kind of just like made for future proofing. We added the electric and everything so that we can do that eventually. Over here in the corner, we put another cabinet with one of those pull-out drawers, no Lazy Susan. And then we put an 18-inch set of drawers over on this side. On this side, you can see our ladies are hard at work. This is just a couple of days worth of eggs. And we don't like to refrigerate our eggs, so we just leave them here. And that also allows them to box them up when some of our customers want to pick up eggs. But you can see we put up here two 30-inch cabinets up here. Down below, we have a nice big 36-inch cabinet right here. So it's double door with two drawers. Over here is our KitchenAid dishwasher. Then over here, we put in a 36-inch base cabinet. We picked this faucet up at Lowe's, I believe it was. I love the way this is because of the way it pulls out. It just magnetically attaches over there. We did opt to have the soap dispenser. I like having that soap dispenser here. Ignore the fact that we have not yet finished the window, but again, that's because we're going to be redoing all of the windows, so we didn't want to bother framing everything out. It's just going to get ruined anyway. We're going to be doing like nice wood trim around the inside of all the windowsills once we change out our windows. Some of the things that I thought were really cool, we picked this stuff up at Amazon, was this nice drainage rack that's adjustable, and we're able to just kind of put it in and take it out. And also for the bottom of this nice deep sink, we picked up this nice silicone mat to prevent scratching on our sink. Over here we added a couple of more cabinets. I believe this one was 18 inches on this cabinet here. Then over here we have a 24-inch cabinet. Up here we have obviously our microwave that we were able to vent to the outside. We have a nice little cabinet up over the microwave, and then another cabinet down here on the end.
Here's my favorite cabinet in the kitchen, and that is the garbage can cabinet. Now, it did come with a recycling option. It had like a recycling lid on it, but we don't have recycling here in Arcadia. So we just used it as a double garbage can, and let me tell you, we need 2 garbage cans in one drawer.
Over here, we added another 24-inch cabinet. And on this cabinet, we did actually get another one of those pull-out drawers. The thing is, I haven't added it yet because we wanted to see how our pans were gonna line up. And I think what we're gonna do is actually mount it up here so that we can pull out from up here and be able to fit more things in there. This is probably one of my favorite things that we added in here. This is the GE Profile electric oven. And I absolutely love this. I purchased it at Home Depot along with the matching GE Profile microwave. We really wanted something that would match and also could talk to each other. And this has like Bluetooth technology that actually connects it up to the microwave. So if you set the oven time on here, it automatically reflects up onto your microwave. But there's a cooler feature. If I go ahead and turn this on, watch, I'm just gonna turn on one of the burners. It automatically turns on our fan and our light up there. And as soon as we turn it off, it turns off the light and it turns off the fan. So if we're making bacon, we don't have this thing where we accidentally forgot to turn on the vent fan and have like smoke all over the place. So I love the fact that it automatically is turning on our vent fan. The other thing that I really liked about this is I don't like the electric ovens where you have the piece up in the back. I just don't think it looks nice. And so this is obviously very low profile and all of your controls are up here on the front. Now this is not an induction oven. I wanted to get an induction oven, but I did a lot of research, and unless I was willing to spend like $3,000 or $4,000, none of them had tremendously great reviews. They were like so-so. So we went with the standard electric oven, and I absolutely love this one because it has a lot of cool features. Like aside from the Bluetooth technology, it does have Wi-Fi, so you can make sure that you didn't turn it, that you didn't forget to turn it off. You can set timers and things, but this also has dehydrator built in, it has an air fryer built in, it has convection built in, steam clean. So it's got all of the features that I really like. Plus, inside of it is ginormous. I mean, look at how much room you have inside of here. And then it does have down here on the bottom, a small little storage drawer. And then finally here on the end, we added another cabinet here. I believe this cabinet is 18 inches, along with 3 drawers down on the bottom.
I'm really thankful to have another space in this home done. As we check off things, it really makes my heart happy. Obviously, I would love to move into this place tomorrow, but I'm trying to be patient. And this really just gives us a great big win. The fact that this is done. Definitely my favorite feature of this kitchen is the giant island, because I just know that there's gonna be room for everybody, and I think it's gonna be the perfect place for family board game night.
So it was a lot of work, but I absolutely love this kitchen. Now let's go over a couple of things because I'm sure you guys are gonna have questions. First of all, we did purchase all of our cabinets from thertastore.com. I will leave a link down below. Putting the cabinets together really wasn't that bad. We tackled a few each day. Once
We got the hang of them. We were able to put them together in about 15 minutes. I didn't bother adding the assembly into this video because there's plenty of assembly videos out there, and I didn't want to make this super long. And then for the countertop, we purchased it from a local countertop place. And I just love the look of the white quartz with a little bit of graininess, but it really blends in well with the cabinets.
We definitely learned a lot while we were shopping for countertops as far as like what is more resilient for, you know, different people's needs. I know going into that, I thought we're definitely not going to go quartz, and then we wound up with quartz, but we felt like it was the best fit for us. I also thought that the more junk, the more spots on a countertop made it more expensive, but actually it's the opposite of that.
Yeah. Now, as far as price, here's what we paid. We spent $10,000 on the cabinets. However, that included the big tall cabinet for our bathroom, and it included the 48-inch vanity for the bathroom. Those two things combined were right around $1,400. So here in the kitchen, we spent about $8,600 on all of the cabinets. And then the countertop, if I remember right, cost us about $6,000.
Yeah.
And that was for everything. Installed, they came out, they measured it. They got it in within a week of us actually ordering it. So I was really impressed. They did a great job. They cut the hole for the sink. It also included a free sink. Then we also ended up getting the cabinet levelers to make it much easier. That cost us about $250, $300.
Worth it.
And then we spent about $100 on the faucet. So all in all, for the entire kitchen, we're right around $15,000, which sounds like a lot of money. It's definitely the biggest investment in the house, way over the budget that we were originally planning, which was gonna be around $10,000. However, we kind of looked at this as like, this is our forever home.
Well, and this is the biggest feature of our home. This is where we spend the most amount of time. And I mean, we have a keto channel, we do cooking demonstrations, and we like to have visitors. So we just knew that like the kitchen is the heart of the home. And so we are willing to make other rooms not splashy, not exciting, and keep the costs down in there.
So even though $15,000 sounds like a lot of money, I don't think it's a lot of money for a kitchen. If you were to have somebody come in and do this for you, I feel like it would be a lot more money. Again, as we said earlier, we priced out this same exact cabinet layout at Lowe's, and they wanted $18,000 just for the cabinets, and that did not include the countertop. So I think overall, we did pretty good, and I'm, again, super happy with these lights. We will show them to you in another video because that was another recommendation from our son, because what makes these unique is you don't have to put cans in the ceiling. They are like surface mount, or like just below the surface mount. And they have these little boxes so that you can not have to have, you know, outlet boxes up in the ceiling because they're like connected to a wire. So I'll show them to you in another video because we're gonna put them into other rooms, but super happy with the way everything came out. Let us know down in the comment section, what are your thoughts? And do you think that this was a good price? I absolutely love this kitchen.
And I'm thankful that it's done.
So do us a favor, head down below, and in this video, make sure you hit the like button. That's gonna do two things. Number one, it does help build our channel, but more importantly, it's gonna let us know what kind of videos you guys are looking to see.
Also, don't forget to hit the little bell button, and that way every single time we upload a new video, you'll be alerted to it.
Until next time,
Bye.
bye.